Yet, yet other schools maintained man would always be evil unless personally threatened, which gives us the presence of police in the society. But even police sometimes work on the idea that there are good and bad people. From all this, one could judge that man had a problem about whether people are good or bad. Probably this minute, you could think of some examples of good people and bad people. You know those who rave and gnaw the rug at the very thought of Scientology helping anyone. Well, therefore, there must be people of evil intention toward their fellows, and there are. The research results you would be interested in show clearly that there are two types of behavior: that calculated to be constructive and that calculated to be disastrous. So there are two dominant behavior patterns. There are people then who are trying to build things up and others who are trying to tear things down. And there are no other types. Actually, there aren't even shades of gray. The disaster type can be repressed into inactivity and illness, and the constructive type can also be repressed and made ill. Thus, there are two basic actions, each with many other subsidiary actions. There's also a cyclic or combined type who is alternately constructive and disastrous. So there are cowboys in white hats and cowboys in black hats, and the cowboys in the gray hats are too sick to be in the game. One scholarly chap, a very sick fellow, hopefully told me once that there were no true villains, no purely evil people. He was whistling past the graveyard. And I have a definition of that expression, whistling past the graveyard. I'll read it aloud. It's an idiom meaning to talk or act as if one is confident and relaxed, even when one is actually afraid or nervous. It involves maintaining a cheerful facade to deny or ignore a threat or problem. That's whistling past the graveyard. Okay. Good. So this guy that he said there were no true villains, no purely evil people. He was whistling past the graveyard. There may not be evil people, but there are people currently devoted to doing evil actions. All such conduct is apparent and dominant. We see such people all the time. We just don't want to see them. The underlying reasons for this are, in the absence of processing, fixed and unchangeable in any one lifetime. Now, here's where he starts to get into an interesting dimension of this, I think. As man knows a man only in one lifetime, the basic cause or changes have not been observed. Thus, to all practical purposes for man, some good and some are good and some are evil. And if we didn't have Scientology, it would not only not be observed, but couldn't ever be changed. That the condition exists, that half are good, half are bad according to their personalities, oddly enough, does not alter basic Scientology concepts. It explains why certain persons appear to be evil and some appear to be good. Now, this is something I'm commenting on. This is coming out of his research during this period of time. Bella H did a lot of research on the subject of goals and the goals problem mass, the GPM, which is a large part of a person's case. Mm. And he said, examining the actual goals of an individual shows us why. So these are discoveries he made out of that research. About half the goals of any one individual are constructive. The remainder are destructive. It takes a being a very long time to live completely through the cycle of one goal, much less a series of goals. I'm just going to display one image that I generated with the help of AI bot, just to kind of illustrate this a little bit. So I think you'll see this coming up on your screen.
Yeah. Yep.
Yes.
Yeah.
So this represents a very long cycle, like thousands of years, many thousand years, where a person is going through body after body after body in different historical periods. To illustrate the idea, he's talking about a long period of time here where a person may pursue a particular goal, and then it may be a long time before they flip over and they pursue a completely opposite goal. But it all depends on where in the cycle they are that we currently encounter them. So you get the idea that he's talking about a very long cycle here. So therefore, any one individual at any given long period of his existence is only fixated on disaster for a very long period of time, and at a subsequent long period is fixated only on being constructive. So the same being at different lifetimes is good and evil. Given a sudden overwhelming experience, anyway, that's a key part of this whole issue right here. The same being at different lifetimes is good or evil, right? Now, given a sudden overwhelming experience, a good person may be shifted violently in his own goals pattern and become evil. And a quote bad person, acted upon powerfully by life, will become good. But they also become sick. Their illness stems from being moved out of present time into past heavy energy patterns. It's no cure to move them this way, despite the assertions of 19th century mentalists and their shock treatment. This shows why shock sometimes works in a way, and why changes of character come about. But it also shows why such changes are accompanied by severe illness and early death. The person is thrown violently out of present time into a painful past. Now, the problem is not a problem of sanity and insanity. It's a problem of disastrous motives and constructive motives, and the degree to which either is suppressed. By suppressing the damaging motives of a being who's currently inclined to disaster, one can make that being, quote, behave, unquote. But by suppressing the constructive motives of a being currently inclined to be constructive, one can make that being behave also, but both will become physically ill, neurotic, or insane in the absence of processing or auditing. So the same being in one long period can be constructive, and in the next long period, disastrous. And there he's talking about thousands and thousands of years in each period. Now, as man measures time in small bits, such as youth, old age, or a lifetime, he could conceive of a being as either only constructive or only disastrous. Fortunately for us, this also solves the ancient riddle that one cannot be granted power without also having good intentions. The only way final and powerful abilities can be returned to an individual is by ridding him of all of these hidden compulsions, a task now accomplished at level 6. This gives the Scientologist a useful insight into character, A sick being is one who's been bent upon violence and was suppressed, or one who was bent upon constructiveness and was suppressed. It also gives a whole span of new processes for level 3 called auditing by lists. And Mary, do we have a slide about that at all available? Auditing by lists?
Yeah, we do. I'm not sure if you're going to be able to see it. Oh, good. We got things happening here. Okay. I do have this chart. It is from the First Independent Church of Scientology. Was it the grade chart or the definition you wanted? This one?
Auditing by list. The definition of
Auditing by list. Let's see here.
No, it's not there. I'll just read
Auditing by list. Yeah, this bulletin of 6 November 1964, styles of auditing.
Yeah, this doesn't
actually contains everything. So
this doesn't have
here we go. There we go.
There we go.
Auditing by list.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
That's it. Good. So bridge style auditing, but auditing by list. Okay. There's more specific thing about auditing by list. I'll just read it out of the tech dictionary. Okay.
Sounds great. Sounds good.
Cool. So thanks. Let's see. Auditing by list is, now a lot of you guys have had like an L1C in session, or you have a little trouble and you pull out a correction list and so forth. That style you're using there is called auditing by list. And defined as a technique using prepared lists of questions. These isolate the trouble the PC's having with auditing. Such lists also cover and handle anything that could happen to a student or a staff member. So there are a number of these lists that LRH made up. And then some actual auditing levels contain lists of questions. Those of you that have had OT5, I've been doing a lot of those lately. There are specific questions in as part of the level, and you check to see if it reads. If it reads, then you run that question as part of the auditing process. So that's basically what he means by auditing by list. You can either use it to remedy trouble in session, or it can be part of a level or grade that you're auditing. Okay.
Yes.
Very good. So back to the issue here. This gives us a whole span of new processes for level 3, which is otherwise known as grade 3, called auditing by lists, available in covered guidance centers or from informed field auditors. Yay. This is quite in addition to what it does at level 6. And it also tells us that no one with obsessive intentions will ever make it to the highest and most powerful levels with disastrous inclinations. But at the street level, with no processing involved, we have these two basic types, good and evil. And these subdivide into the good who couldn't be good and became sick, and the evil who couldn't be evil and became sick. But these facts are more than philosophic observations. They deliver to us understanding and more chance to be right about people. And they give us as well the wide open door to making people well at level 3. One cannot push research, as I have done in the past year, into the stratosphere without learning more at sea level also. And this is what has happened here. The basic travail of man is that he is divided into those who build and those who demolish. And in this conflict of intentions, his fight, whichever side he is on, is always lost, or was lost until the Scientologist came along. L. Ron Hubbard, founder. Oh,
Yeah.
that's
Yay.
my on two
Yeah.
types of people.
Okay. Are there any questions?
Sorry, one
questions at
question.
all?
Excuse me, one question about that picture when many centuries and many bodies. Was
Yeah.
about one Satan we were talking about.
That's right. One fate.
Okay.
That's right.
Okay,
Yes.
thank you. Thank you.
Correct.
I was thinking about the goals for different lifetimes and how we go through cycles of goals. And please correct me if I'm wrong, but we have many, if not hundreds of goals collected throughout our Satan existences. Do we not? There's quite a tangle.
Mhm.
Is that correct? Is that correct?
Yeah.
I wish I could find a definition at the moment, but it's not available to me. Okay.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. All right. I just thought I'd toss that out there. Okay. Well, thank you so much, Randy. That's wonderful. That is such a great thing to remember. Two types of people. We're all kind of on our own cycles somewhere, somehow.
Yes.
All right.
And
Well,
of course, I just want to emphasize that by applying Scientology tech, we can unravel the difficulties one has with either good or bad people, and that's the solution to that.
yeah, and kind of like the label is a little bit useless. If you understand a person's trying to accomplish something, it's or has been suppressed from accomplishing something. That that pendulum swing of the
Yeah.
GPM. I'll be all this way here, and later on
That's
it's
right.
oh no, I'm going to go this way. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
always in play. It's always in play. All
That's
right,
right.
awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you,
And
Randy.
now, yeah,
Sure.
we have our next speaker, Trey Lotz. And Trey, let's see, I'm going to go right here. Trey Lotz is going to talk about the importance of auditor training to going OT, as well as auditor training enhancing executive skills. And we have some really good things that Z can post into the chat for us too, for your reference. We try to put references in as we speak on the PowerPoint, but that we don't always get to do that. So anyway, okay. Let's see, where am I? Trey, are you there?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, you're up,
There's
buddy.
Trey.
Trey Lotz, everybody. We want to see his
Hello,
smiling
Trey.
face.
Hello. Well, I wanted to build on what Randy was saying there. It's there's something that LRH wrote in a policy. Said that auditors make the best executives, and I remember that stuck with me when I read it, and I was thinking, and over the years I've had more insight into why that was so, and it has something to do with what Randy was talking about there and what LRH was talking about. No, it isn't. When the person's basic case is a GPM case, you have a goal, it gets opposed, you have a problem, and that creates a mass. Well, it's true of anything that's solid in the physical universe. It was just created as a solid, or it's two energies that's come into conflict and gone into equilibrium with each other and become a solidity. Now, a mental image picture, for example, is just a frozen energy pattern. You could look at it that way. It's a useful way of looking at what a picture is. And the reason why you can audit it is that when you put your attention on a picture, you're entering new energy into that picture, the energy of attention. And that tends to unbalance and will eventually disperse the energy in that picture, and the picture will as is or vanish or disappear. And that's the basic of Dianetic auditing. It's also the basic of problems. A problem is just two energies that have come into balance with each other, and so therefore they hang up in time and they float in time and become timeless. Now, see, it isn't that you've started out with bad intentions, or basic intentions are always create type intentions, like to create understanding, to create love, to create beauty, There are a lot of different basic goals like that, out of which you can derive different purposes for different dynamics. But the underlying desire to have a game always starts with having a goal. So let's say you have a goal to create beauty, and then you decide you have a purpose to be a great artist, a great painter, let's say. So then you go ahead and you start to become a painter, and then you run into problems with people, like you run into problems with critics who criticize your painting. You run into people who don't want to buy your painting, who thinks it's a waste of time that you're painting. And those become, so then what happens is your attention shifts from your goal to create beauty to opposing the people that are opposing you, opposing your opposition. And when a game goes down tone, of course, your intention becomes to kill those bastards, that are opposing my good goals. And so those are the goals that hang up. You may have had 100 good goals for every one bad goal, but the one goal that hangs up and floats in time is the good versus the bad. And that's why in present time, a being has an equal number of good and bad goals, because those are the only goals that have hung up in time and floated along and become your GPM case. And those can get triggered in life and cause you to dramatize good intentions, bad intentions. So basically, when you treat anybody as an enemy, and there are many gradients of this. When you treat somebody, when you get annoyed at somebody, when you get irritated with somebody, when you get mad at somebody, you're basically positioning them in an enemy position in relationship to yourself. And that tends to do two things. It keys in your intentions of harming your enemies, but the person that you're doing that to keys in, they have to destroy you because you're trying to destroy them. So that's where you get but this occurs can occur on a very light gradient, just a spat or a mild disagreement, or it can turn into a bloody warfare. And that's the GPM case. That's what you handle on your L's. So
Wow.
anyway, getting back to the main point, which I'm going around the barn on this. Well, what enables you in life to handle people, to handle situations in a way that does not trigger this opposing and this opposing goal mechanism, which is the source of aberration? Well, you've got two things. You've got auditor's code and you've got the TRs. And when you're auditing people, the auditor's code prevents you from getting into a opposing condition or opposing position with the person you're auditing. When you take a look at each one of these auditor's code, most of them, if you violate them, you're positioning yourself as opposing the pre-clear, and therefore the pre-clear will end up opposing you, and therefore nothing gets done. So if you have a critical evaluation of the pre-clear or an invalidation of the pre-clear in his mind says, "Hey, wait a minute, I'm not going to buy into that," or see, they'll either oppose you or they'll succumb to it. But either way, it's not productive to actually bringing about greater awareness and greater case gain, because now your attention is on the auditor and on the game's condition that has been produced by violation of the auditor's code. When you say I promise to grant beingness to the pre-clear in session, you're not saying. You're saying to the pre-clear, you're acceptable to me the way you are, and I'm not going to try to change you because I don't like something about you. That's what granting of beingness is. And when you can relate to a person in session like they're acceptable to you and I like you and there's no reason for me to try to impose some kind of a change on you that you don't want. But I'm creating an environment where you're free to change yourself because you're more aware of your own behavior, your own case, your own considerations that may not be productive or workable for you to have going forward. So you take this body of information, which is the auditor's code and TRs, and then you broaden that out and you start to apply that in life. And LRH talks about that. He talks about the luxury of the code of honor in life, but there's also the luxury of being able to apply the auditor's code in life, to be able to handle life with communication or nothing. You don't have to revert back to opposing, producing techniques such as criticism, invalidation, hostility, make wrong, all of the things that people dislike in their everyday intercourse with people. And also, and you remind you that LRH says that most ARC breaks come about because of a failure to handle originations of the pre-clear. That's true in an auditing session. You don't quite get the pre-clear, what he's saying, but you just kind of brush it off and you don't take it seriously. You don't really acknowledge it. um, the attention of the pre-clear goes on to the auditor. And of course, this is not a good thing because then the attention is off case and not, they're not interested in their own case and willing to talk to the auditor. They have attention on the auditor because the auditor is now some sort of a person they have to handle. Or, so being able to correctly understand and acknowledge an origination is such an invaluable trait. It prevents so many arguments from occurring in life and so many problems from happening in a session. And also like a correct acknowledgement or proper acknowledgement isn't just, oh yeah, sure, thank you, I got that. Or yeah, thanks for telling me that, which is kind of a brush off, and it's true in life too. You really have to, if somebody's really trying to get something across to you, because you're oblivious or you don't understand, and you don't understand them, or you don't understand something about them. They really want you to know something about them. The end point, of course, they want to be understood. I mean, that's what most people want. They want to be understood by the people around them. So they don't want to be misinterpreted or misidentified as something that they're not. So if they're trying to tell you something about themselves and you kind of give it back to them and say, "Oh, okay, so what I'm getting here is you really want to," I mean, that's one way of handling us. That's one way of acknowledging a pre-clear. It's like, all right, let me make sure I understand this. And then you kind of give some back to them, and then they'll correct you if you're not correct. And eventually go, yeah, that's right. That's right. I'll say, yeah, okay, I really understand that. And then they feel acknowledged. It may take more than 10 seconds to do that, but it's whatever time you have to put into it, it's well worth doing, because otherwise everything kind of stops in its tracks, like a session stops in its tracks. Even if it doesn't look like it stopped in its tracks, you look at your past auditing and the things that you think of, little stop points and little slow points in your auditing are points where your attention has gone off your own case and onto the auditor. And so in life, if you're able to be an executive, it means you're being somebody's senior. Now, you can be the executive over your own life, which means you're the senior over your own life. And you've got juniors, which is your body and your identity, your day-to-day identity, that you kind of set the agenda for, and you go through life. And you've got, friends, you've got, you've got people that you work with, your associates. They're not necessarily your juniors, but there's people that you communicate with and get along with. And if you keep your TRs in, and if you keep the auditor's code in, things will go very smoothly. For the most part, I mean, the amount of conflict that you have in your life is down to an irreducible minimum, if at all. And so that's all the benefit really of those things, because most people, when they're put in a leadership position, they don't know how to be a good leader. And they've never had a lot of examples of good leaders. You look back at all of the high school teachers and college teachers that you had, and one or two may stand out as being a great teacher. Well, they were also a great leader because they led you intellectually or emotionally through a situation and allowed you to duplicate and understand something. But most teachers, you don't get that. And then occasionally you get bad teachers that are just opposing, they're opposing their students. And the only thing you remember about them is disagreements you've had with them. You see, so if you get into a leadership position, it's very easy to quickly devolve into a domination, nullification relationship with your juniors. And you see this a lot. Saw this a lot in the church. People would get promoted into a leadership position and they would just end up suppressing their juniors to quote, get their stats up, when in fact, what was out? Well, they weren't trained as an auditor. They didn't know the TRs. They didn't know auditor's code. They didn't know that you could handle people without crushing them or making less of them or putting them under oppressive control. So this is really, I mean, this is a long way around the barn here. I mean, I hope I was trying to show you how deep this goes, this idea that a good executive is also a good auditor. A good auditor is also a good executive. And this goes so deep, it goes so deep into case. One of these things about Scientology, it's the first thing you learn. You sit down and do TRs. And it's the last thing you know when you go full OT is your TRs, your auditor's code, your code of honor, the basic things that you learn the first week on course are the last things that are most important to you when you do your whole bridge. That's my talk for today.
Very good, Trey. Yeah.
Awesome, Trey. Thank you.
Trey, thanks so much. Thanks so much. You've always got such gorgeous, yes,
Yay,
applause,
Trey.
applause. Always has such great
Yeah.
information.
Woo.
Well, I'll tell you what, thank you so much again, Trey, for talking with us. We're going to go on to the last part here. Well, if we've got questions. Does anybody have questions? You can send them to Z or just unmute yourself and speak out. If we can keep it civil, not crash each other's audio.
Mhm.
What do you think? Anybody got questions?
Mary, are we gonna record this part?
We
we are
could,
recording.
would you rather I did not? Does everybody want me to shut it down?
I vote for recording it, but we are recording.
Yes, we are currently
we-
recording. I can shut it off if I can find the button. I'm having trouble with some of my controls here today. So if it's okay, we can just record it. We do not have to mention names. In fact, it would be better if we did not. But any questions at all? Because our faces do not appear on the final recording. It's just what we've selected for the screen.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's see.
Well-
Let's see if I can pop into chat here and see what's going on. Because sometimes people would rather.
Mary, I just wanted to make a comment to what Randy was reading about beings having cycles of being good or having good purposes and then the opposing purposes, like how the goals, problems, mass are set up to be or implanted for us to be, for beings who haven't had the chance to go up the bridge or get auditing. And it's interesting that I know of at least 2 people in this lifetime where I saw the switch from bad to good and vice versa. There's like a breaking point where, like in this lifetime, they click and either they become very religious or, oh, I left all that bad behind and now I'm gonna just do good things, or the opposite. So I've actually seen 2 people that I've known where the switch turned, and I'm sure without auditing, they will go on having those cycles for the next whatever millennia until it switches back. And the only really, usable and workable technology is, of course, to get them in session and get auditing and get the implants removed and get the reactive mind removed, etc. Isn't that incredible that we have the tech to do it in this one lifetime? They don't have to go through
Yeah.
thousands of lifetimes.
Yes,
Very
very
much.
good. Very
Yeah.
good point.
Yeah, and another thing that made me realize again is if we are on a good cycle this lifetime and we see others that are not, it is a reality break. It's an ARC break. So, but the understanding that, okay, this person is, a criminal or this person is suppressive is because they're running through their cycle. And unless we get them in session, they will continue going on, and just confronting the fact that this is what it is. It is what it is. You don't have to have an ARC break, avoid that person, do something else. If you can't audit them, just avoid them, go out of their way.
Yeah,
That was also
it goes to an interesting point about just to use one example, alcoholics. If you're an alcoholic, alcohol is an ally or a friend. The alcohol is on your side, and the best way to get somebody to come off of alcoholism is to get them to flip into being anti-alcohol. And then you see this when there's nobody more militant than somebody who's converted from one side to another. If you're a sinner and now you're converted to religion, you're going to be very militant about it. Well, you're still stuck in the game. You just flipped sides. And when you're able to audit out the GPM involved, this lifetime GPM involved in that, you're able to have a normal or neutral reaction to something, and not be militantly against it because you were once militantly for it.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
Okay.
Z,
Yeah.
excuse me, Z. Right now, you just cured my ARC break with humanity when you point out that it's reality break.
Exactly. Yeah, perfect.
Okay.
That's what I'm talking about.
I'm just trying. Thank you.
With
Yeah.
all of my knowledge, but then just listening to this piece of information, that exactly happened for me too, Olga. You're right. Where I was like, in a unit of time. Yes, exactly. We don't have to have a ARC break with humanity. Yeah, perfect. Good.
Yeah.
These are the simple concepts that you're introduced to probably in the first day when you approach Scientology or go to a comm course, ARC. And they are so powerful that even at the OT levels, we're discovering these breaks or these realities or these affinities or this communication and understanding that's been around us for so long. And we're to the point where we can manage it. That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
I hear other OTs agreeing with me. Yes, the basics are what OT is for real. In my humble opinion. Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yes, I want to thank all of you. I'm in Suriname, and I'm embarking upon hopefully rescuing the national airline of Suriname. whereas there's a big scandal going on. It's full of corruption for the last 63 years. It's the birthday today of the airline, and it's doing very bad. But luckily, we have a new president, and yes, she is interested in listening to me and my aviation doctor from Canada. And I know I'm going to have to confront, all this evil in this company, but it is very useful. What I've heard you today say, Randy and Trey, two kinds of people, and I was already struggling with a few people, but then I realized, let it be. Just see them for what they are, and just keep focused on the goal. Concentrate on the good in all the people, and then the evil will just go aside, and we can get our job done. So we hope we get a call from the president, the new president of Suriname, who's a woman, so of 71 years old, and I'll keep you updated on how it progresses.
Very good.
Yes, please.
Sounds
Please
great.
do. Yes.
Yeah.
That sounds
Yeah.
wonderful.
Thank
Wow.
you.
Thank you for sharing.
You're welcome. And also,
It-
I just want to say some news on my OT8 friend here, Adrian Witte, and Trey knows about it. He was in a traffic accident in October, but it seems like he fully recovered. We thought we were going to lose him, but he's back. He's back to battery, and he's driving his motorcycle again, and he is auditing people. And it so happens to be that the new head of parliament is one of his PCs and students.
Wow.
Not many people know that yet, so there is hope.
That's
Yeah.
fantastic.
Nice.
Yay.
Nice.
And I'm going to do my best to get auditing as quickly as possible from you guys. I already talked to Z and Trey. I'm working on my finances so I can get the meter. It's time. It's time for me to do that after
You
40
up the
years.
bridge, Sonny.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. And I
Yeah.
see the wins already from being a agent and applying my OT heading courses and what you guys are telling me. That helps a lot by not
Right.
being on course and not getting auditing, but learning a lot from you guys. Yeah, it helps me a lot. Thank you so much.
Very good.
Wonderful. We're very glad. We're really
Thank you.
glad. Okay. All right. Any other questions?
Or maybe let's share some more wins. I have a win to
Okay.
share.
Okay, I'll tell you what, at this point, what I'm going to
Mhm.
do is I am going to stop recording so people can feel free to express their wins. Is that all right with everybody?
Yeah.
Yes.
We're good. Yeah, because it's more personal and yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Well, this is the end of the show for the recording. Or actually, I can pause it. That's good. Let's just pause it.
Mhm.
All right. Let's see
Good.
here. Come on now. Come on now. Oh. Okay.
It is good.
Okay. There we are. Our next OTA event will be on Saturday, October 25th, 2025 at 10 o'clock Pacific time. The topic is going to be OTs and time, and that should be kind of interesting. It's an in-depth look at how OTs view part of this physical universe. Again, our contact information, indiebridge.org for events and contact info@indiebridge.org for questions and suggestions. And again, we'd love to hear from you. We really do want to get your feedback and questions and ideas. And IndieBridge on Facebook, if you are on Facebook, go to Facebook and search for us or email info@indiebridge.org for an invitation. We'll get you on there. It's a really good group, really good, calm group, and we just discuss standard LRH tech. That's all we do, and our wins, share our wins, and groups that have auditing available, services available can post on there, and that's really about all we do. Let's see, and I'd like to say finally, thank you for being here with us, and that's it for today's OTA event. We'll see you next time.
Awesome. See you next
you.
time. Thank you so much.
Yes.
See you, everybody.
Bye.
Enjoy.
Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Great event. Great event.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you so much.